Welcome to week 7 of the Dreamer Challenge, 52-week video challenge. And this week, coming to you from not home, in a hotel in Corpus. I'm doing my firefighting academy. 2 weeks of skills training. And so some of the main takeaways from this week are going to be a lot of things that I learned from my different instructors I've had. Like every single person that you meet, that you know, is a different opportunity to learn. And so with each person and each new instructor, I would always ask, like, what's your one takeaway, or like, what's your one piece of advice for someone getting into this career? If it's, whatever your dream is, whatever you're working on, whatever you want to grow in and learn in, ask people what's their one piece of advice in that realm. And here's the thing, maybe it's applicable, maybe it's not, maybe you totally disagree, maybe you don't, but it's getting in the habit of asking and in the habit of being open-minded to learning. That is the important factor. Now, what people say, what advice they give, that's just an opinion. It's just a data point that's based upon their entire experience. So, take that as what it is just an opportunity to either use that information for your own benefit, whether it's like, oh, good piece of advice. I'm not going to do that. Or maybe it's something great and you're like, yeah, that was awesome. I'm glad I asked them. And you just never know who you can learn from or what you're going to pick up and learn. And that's the most important thing is, just getting in that habit and building that habit of being open-minded, seeking to learn something, always being in the student kind of mindset, even from someone maybe that you don't get along with the best, someone that, maybe y'all are in the same position, same job, and, they maybe slack more than you do, but that's an opportunity as well to learn. And maybe the learning lesson there is, don't do these things. Because everything is either, there's a saying like, your parents or anyone is either an example of what to be or what not to be. And so it's your choice what you make with that. But without being in the habit of looking for those lessons, looking for those learning points, you can't stack these lessons and grow. And that's what we're trying to do over a long time horizon. As grows, we're going to stack these 1% little lessons, and they're going to slowly tick up, but they're going to grow more and more rapidly as they compound, because that's what these 1% marginal gains do. Is by the end of the year, you're not just 1% better, you're compounded over that year, and you're actually hundreds of percent better. You're way better at your job. You're way better at, writing, if that's what your dream is. You're way better as a runner because you've been going on YouTube every single day, and you're like, I'm going to spend 5 minutes on YouTube, find one piece of advice, 2 pieces of advice, 3 pieces of advice, and implement them. Or don't. Even if it's like, I'm never going to do this, that's also implementation and taking action. So that way, you're not going to make that mistake, that lesson that you learned from someone that you appreciated or not. So it's stacking these lessons. And that's one of the biggest takeaways from all the different instructors I've had thus far. Everyone says, learn, be proactive and learn, listen and learn. It's the small things that add up to the big things. If you do the small things right, then the big things take care of themselves. The big things are totally possible. Because if you don't do the small things, then there's no way you're going to do the big things, because you can't even do the small things. So you haven't even set up the foundation onto which you can build your pyramid or skyscraper or whatever this is. So yeah. That's the biggest takeaway from this week is do the work, really, to learn, to be an active listener, to ask questions, get comfortable asking questions. People want to share their story. They want to share their advice, right? Everyone generally likes talking about themselves in some capacity, in some area, but it's just up to you to figure out what that is. And for you to be like, what lessons do I want to learn or take away from here? And to share that with yourself and others. Because the more we learn and share together, the quicker we all grow. You know, it's the rising tide raises all ships kind of mentality. It's a social learning of I can make a mistake, learn from it, share it with y'all, and then y'all hopefully don't make the same mistake. And we can share and trade lessons in this open, free forum that is life. And that way we can all be better at whatever it is we're trying to strive and be better at. Hopefully, better humans in general. That's usually my number one. And so, yeah, that's the biggest takeaway is always ask, always seek to learn, always be open-minded. Always realize too, like, things that you learn aren't always applicable in every situation. And yeah, that just because maybe you're in a different space than someone else, let's say, you know, you are an instructor, right, at the fire academy. Well, even as an instructor, they're still open-minded. Like, one of them literally is like, I'm still learning from you guys as much as y'all are learning from me. You know, yes, I have more experience in this field, but y'all are bringing a fresh perspective, making me rethink about things that I do in the field and the way that I teach them here. And that's the importance of, no matter where you're at, you still need to be a student, and it doesn't matter if you're ahead of someone or behind someone or in the same space. There's always something that you can learn, whether to do or not to do. So that's the importance of this week, and that's mainly what it's come down to, is just being proactive and being a learner and being okay with asking people that maybe you don't know that well, and maybe are a little intimidating questions, and because people want to share, and like most people care, and the people that don't, like, that's also a good indicator, like, cool, I don't need to hang out with these people. So yeah, that's my big takeaway from this week is, you know, take care of the small things, and the big things will take care of themselves. Learn, be proactive in that, be active in that, and be open-minded, you know, because you can learn from anyone, you know, whether that's things to do or absolutely not to do. So yeah, that's my biggest takeaway. Also, don't give yourself food poisoning, because that sucks. But great opportunity. If you do get food poisoning, I recommend bananas, plain toast, applesauce, and some people say rice, but I'm more on the like saltine cracker side of things, because I don't know about y'all, but saltine crackers are just like the best thing in the world. So that's it. That's week 7. Here we are, still plugging away. So even though I'm at Fire Academy, you know, working 8 hours a day, it's mainly all skills stuff, so all hands-on. So it's a lot of physicality, which means like I'm not really using my mind a bunch. So even though I'm studying beforehand and afterwards, taking care of some other stuff to make sure that I pass my exams and tests, I'm also still not giving up on the dream, still writing a little bit every day, or at least thinking about it in between breaks here and there, and working my brain and like thinking like, how could I take these lessons and apply them to the book? Or, you know, what's the next best scene that needs to be written, the next most important thing to be included in there. And then just make a quick note. You know, I don't have my phone on me while I'm at the academy, but man, as soon as I'm on that lunch break, if I had something in my head that just stuck, boom, add it to a little note list on your phone. It's saved. You don't have to worry about remembering it later. And then eventually when you get back to working on that dream or that side hustle or whatever it is that you're working on, then you've already got a list of like actionable things to do, which is cool. Because honestly, starting is the hardest thing. Even if you do it every day, I find. So yeah, until next time, I'll be over here doing the work, and I hope you're doing the same and learning. Take care.